There's Mr. Frank. There he is. Great Soundgarden shirt. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate that. There's Tom Duffy. Tom Duffy trying in vain to get along with Alice the dog. That dog don't want nothing to do with that boy. Just keep giving me snacks, son of a bitch. Did about 1,600 words yesterday with Tom and Amanda here, which is nice. And then my mother-in-law started having a problem. They thought it was a stroke. Called the ambulance. My wife has been in the hospital since about, this time yesterday. So President Man, come together with your plan. Exactly. It doesn't say suppress it. It says the good expensive salami is basically what it says. So it's like me last week. And yeah, I know you had a scare yourself. I hope everything worked out for your family, Frank. So this morning I had to run over to the hospital, give my wife a change of clothes and her laptop. I picked up some McDonald's breakfast for her. Then we sat in the truck for about 10-15 minutes, and while she ate and talked. But they're doing some tests today, and basically from the last time she was in, obviously the brain problems have gotten a lot worse. So you can't leave her there because she'll freak out, and also then she doesn't know what's going on half the time. So, but she should be, hopefully by like later today she'll be home, but more than likely tomorrow. So my wife will spend 2 straight days sitting in the hospital, which cannot be fun. Big breakfast? No, because I knew I'd be eating again in the car, and she knew, so she just got the sausage and egg biscuit meal. Of course, I fought with the girl at McDonald's. There's a McDonald's right across from the hospital. Very convenient. I pull in. I'm going to tell you my McDonald's story. Free story time. Mickey still. Oh yeah, they still have big breakfast and big breakfast with hotcakes. That's what I always get. But I knew I would probably be sitting in the car and I didn't want to eat hotcakes and stuff with this. I knew I'd get it all over me, so I did not do that. That's what I wanted though. I just basically got the sausage and cheese biscuit meal like she did. But I pull up. I look at the menu. It's 9:30. Still time for breakfast. I say, I would like a number 4. Give me 2 number 4s. Yeah, there's big breakfast, and then there's big breakfast with hotcakes, and they charge you another couple bucks for the hotcakes. Yeah, that's how they fucking get you. I mean, why would you order it without the hotcakes, though? That's because then it's just a piece of sausage, some scrambled eggs, and a hash brown. Right? I think that's it. That's not really that big of. That's a tiny breakfast. So I order the number 4, which is the sausage thing, blah, blah, blah. And she says, 4 for $5? Which ones do you want? And I said, no. I want the number 4 meal combo, 2 of those. She says, what's that? What is that? And I said, you don't have that in front of you? You don't know what the breakfasts are? I was fucking annoyed. I was tired. I had not had enough sleep last night with my wife not here. I had 1 cup of coffee. I'm outside. It's 80 fucking degrees out already. And she's like, what is it? So I read off the thing. I'm like, this is what it is. Are you serious? Oh, what drink do you want with that? Well, I want a Diet Coke and I want an orange juice. You want 2 drinks? And I said, are you kidding me? And I was pissed. Are you kidding me? I want 2 of them. The number 4 breakfast. I want 2 of them. They both come with a drink. Ergo, I get 2 drinks. So now I hear another girl talking. She's like, what are you doing? The girl's like, I don't know. I'm really just confused. I don't know what he wants. And I'm thinking, you've been fucking... Is this your first 5 minutes working a McDonald's drive-thru, lady? So then I hear the other lady said, here. And then I said, I'm afraid to even ask for 2 more hash browns. And the girl says, no, they comes with hash browns. I said, no shit. 2 more. I want 4 hash browns total. So I get up to the window. She won't even look at me. She just takes my card and then she hands it back. And I go to the second window. Then they hand me my drinks, which are right, and then they hand me my bag. And then she's like, have a good day. I said, hold on. I don't trust that girl taking the orders, so let me look at this. I'm like, oh, look, everything is actually there. Frank says, I used to hate making big breakfast in those loathsome styrofoam containers with the dumb hash brown tray in them. That picture I guess it wasn't on the cash register. I guess not. Yeah, so they still have the styrofoam bottoms, but they have the plastic clear trays on top of them. But they do have the little space for the hash brown. If something goes wrong, you'd have been on the news. Lose my shit. But then I ended up eating 1 hash brown, and I said to my wife, here, you can have she loves hash browns. You can have the other. She's like, no, I don't. I'll just take the other hash brown. Why are you messing with me? It's breakfast time. I could come in there and kill everybody. I would probably just come in there and kill you. I'd probably just strangle you. Yeah, so that was that. What a morning, right? What a rush. So there you go. So yeah, so I'm gonna imagine that I'm on my own for. I'll probably skip lunch today. And I'll probably just have an earlier dinner today. I have no idea what I'm gonna have for dinner. By the time you got the order, though, they'll say, sorry, breakfast is over now. Exactly. But you would live a life of excess excitement. All it is excess and excitement. Those are literally all it is. And again, for those who don't know that I did talk to you, is I watched that Trap movie, M. Night Shyamalan. I think it was Frank who said, "Oh, basically he made a movie so he could see his daughter sing." Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the whole thing was let's try to pump up my daughter's singing career. Oh, I'll just make a movie around it. I have all of her great songs in it. I'm thinking that girl ain't ever sold out an arena like that. Come on. She sounds like every other stupid singer. I would never have said anything like that. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I definitely couldn't have been you. Then I watched it and I was like, that was alright. Nothing special. No big, huge twists in it like he's supposed to have. Of course, he had to be in it. You know, you can't have a M. Night Shyamalan movie without him having a part in the movie on screen for at least 5 minutes or so, or it's not really one of his. In the middle of the tension, she's like, let me sing this 3-minute song on the piano. Yeah. Exactly. let me sit down and play you one more of my songs. This one will also be on the soundtrack and also on my upcoming album. It was funny because the whole, like, you could tell if it wasn't his daughter, right, singing, they would have just had like little pieces of the singing. But because it's his daughter, it's like, okay, so the guy's going to talk to his daughter back and forth for 5 minutes while we listen to one of her songs and keep flashing back to the stage where she's doing these amazing dances. I wouldn't know M. Night Shyamalan if you walked up to him in the street and slapped him with his... Yeah. Here's the thing. If you've seen one of his movies, you've seen him. He's literally... He thinks he's... I was going to say he thinks he's Alfred Hitchcock, but Alfred Hitchcock just kind of did a cameo walkthrough in a lot of scenes. This guy's got to be part of the show. You know, he's like, oh, that's my niece up there singing. You know, he's part of the crew for the music stuff. And I'm like, enough. If I saw him in the street, I would whack him with a delicious Italian salami. You know what I'm saying? I think the only one I ever watched was the Nicole Kidman one. You never saw Sixth Sense. You never saw, what's the other one? What's the one where he was the guy who killed the guy's wife or something. He ran her over or something. Pulls up in his car, in his pickup truck. You ever saw the stupid one about the bees? You ever saw the one with the aliens? The crazy space alien? Phoenix, whatever his name... Joaquin Phoenix guy? I really stopped watching. I watched like the first 2 or 3. I think the title was "We're the Ghosts, Not the People You've Been Led to Believe Are Ghosts" for the entire movie. I think I skipped that one. I think I watched The Village. I think I went to see The Village in the theater. And at the end I was like, yeah, that was stupid. I might have seen the Bees one. I think that was after that. Again, whatever. I would tell you the surprise for The Sixth Sense, but people still might be waiting 30 years to watch that one. Bruce Willis is dead? Here's the thing with that one. That fucking guy still went to work every day? Like, I didn't think anything wrong with it. I saw that I believe I was still married to the second one. So the fact that this guy is just walking around dead and his wife isn't talking to him, that just seemed like a normal marriage to me. I didn't realize that the dude was dead. I used to go to the Village a lot when I was in college. As did I saw Jaco Pastorius playing bass high as a friggin' kite in the Village. I don't know. So there's M. Night Shyamalan. Ding dong. That guy. So that's what I watched last night. And then I flipped around for a little bit. And then I did that rabbit hole that is Tubi. I'm like, let's see what documentaries I can watch. And then I just went through and I'm like, oh, there's 4,000 of them. And I don't want to watch any of these. And then it was like, then Tom was messaging me back and forth. And then at like 11 o'clock, I just was like, all right, now I got to just ignore Tom because I'm going to bed. I read more of my my racist book. And then I went to sleep, or tried to go to sleep. Waiting for his "It Was All a Dream" twist ending. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I'd buy red hair dye and meat men imports. Nice. Meat men. Nobody's buying them. Come on, now you're lying. I can see the hair dye, but and you're buying meat men. You're buying imports. Come on. Good times. You didn't watch I did not watch the Bang Tango. So here's the thing. I was actually thinking about it. I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm like, oh, I have YouTube on the television. I just got to sign in. And then I was like, oh, no, my daughter signed in. I don't want to know the weird shit she's watching. And then I was like, but I should watch the Bang Tank. But then I was like, oh, then I got to get out of the cable. I got to figure out how to jump back from the cable. It's like, I'm old. I can't figure this out. I'll just sit uncomfortably in front of my my monitor and I'll just watch the Bang Tango thing. At some point. New season of You is out. I didn't even realize until I was looking for something to watch, but of course I can't watch that without my wife. So at some point, hopefully she'll be home. Hopefully this weekend. I totally bought a Meatman Toilet Slave Canadian import from some record store on Prince Street. Nice. Speaking of Prince Street, Nick Zinn in the house. We are the meat men and you suck. Exactly. It's an hour and 20 minutes. They couldn't even stretch it to an hour and a half. Wow. You just run out of material, you know what I'm saying? You're like, do we have 10 more minutes here? Can we add 10 more minutes to this? They're like, you're lucky you got 80 minutes out of this story, to be honest with you. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Bang Tango one? That was before digital music, and you could only get Toilet Slave was important if you were lucky to find it. Yeah, it's like when the first, I think, 3 Manowar albums came out. They were only imports. You could only get them on import. There was a guy, I forget what his name. He's a redhead. Man, he loved in high school. He loved Manowar. Like he had like 5 different Manowar shirts, and it was like, here's his Monday one, here's his Tuesday one. He would Paul something or other. And he would just walk through the hall singing Manowar songs. You know, like he just freaking loved him some Manowar. I wonder if he still does. Another 3 days and I would have moved to Quebec to listen to more Tescafé. I was never really a huge Meatmen fan. Like a couple other things, but not like I would sit down and listen to them. Bless you, little kitty cat. Bless you. They had 5 different... Yeah, back then. And you know what? They were all imports. So, like, I'm sure, like, in 1986, 87, 88, I'm sure he paid, like, probably, like, $20 a t-shirt, which is outrageous back then. Like, if you were paying more than $10 for a freaking... Not going to the concert. Manowar wasn't playing anywhere here. But, I mean, you know, so he just... He spent a lot of money on those Manowar shirts. And then when Kings of Metal came out, then they did re-releases on all those. Keep sneezing until that snot comes out all over the window. Just keep blowing that shit on the window. Meatmen have rather politically incorrect songs. Yeah, a lot of those bands back then did, which is great. Which was great. We would buy stuff. Me and Russ would buy stuff just for the names of the song. We didn't like half of them. We never even probably listened to. They're like, oh, you know, like Dayglow Abortions. Of course, we're gonna buy those albums. The Feeders. The Teachers in Space album with the space shuttle blowing up. Yeah, hey, we're buying that one. That had some really crazy anti-religious stuff on it. They made MOD seem like gospel music comparison. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Back then it was great because you had no internet. You just would go into random stores, especially you go up to the city, and they're just like 4 billion 7 inches, right? Crazy bands, crazy, like, you know, just walking around, you're like, oh, I think somebody said something about the Subhumans once. Oh, Angry Samoans? Let's just buy all these 7. All the 7 inches were like $1 or $2. We're like, oh, Minor Threat? Yeah, but, oh, I never even saw this Black Flag album. Just freaking just buy everything. A place in Hazlitt was pretty good too, for getting imports in if you asked them to. I had a wasp picture disc shaped like a saw blade. So did I, Frank. So did I. I had a wall of like 12 different Metallica picture discs, and I wrote Metallica real big on the wall, like their logo on the wall really big. I figured out the dimensions from the Ride the Lightning album cover if I make them, 6 times the size, whatever it was, and I penciled it out and wrote it, and then I put all the picture discs on the wall. I'm not even sure what album it was. I still may have it tucked away in an attic somewhere. That'd be really cool if you could find that. So I had the. I don't remember. I had the saw blade one. I had the one with from Blind in Texas with Blackie holding the Texas flag picture disc, and I had the Fuck Like a Beast was one of them as well, but I don't remember if that was the saw blade one or not. 9-5 Nasty. Yeah, I'm not sure which. I never listened. You never put them on. You didn't put them on. I had my Anthrax picture discs. All kinds of shit. Bon Jovi. I had a Bon Jovi picture disc. The what was that song that was only on a soundtrack that I loved? Shit, I don't remember the name of that. Oh, Edge of a Broken Heart. That one. I had that picture disc. George Martin had bought that. That was of an 80s jazzercise gal. Yeah, a lot of picture discs. And like picture discs of stuff that I didn't even like necessarily. I remember Hyrax. I had one of their picture discs. I had the what was it? Possessed, Seven Churches picture disc. Didn't even listen to those bands. Just the picture discs were cool. Shitload of Iron Maiden ones. God, I had a lot of Iron Maiden picture discs. Every time they put out a picture disc, the dude in Hazlitt would get it and he would call me up and go, "Hey, I got 2 more of these and they're $20 each." And I'd be like, "I'll be right down." I'll write down to piss all my money away. Picture discs I'm never gonna play because you're not allowed to play them. I never really bought much vinyl, but I did buy a bunch of vinyl singles because I dug the cover sleeves for those. Bon Jovi just recently slippery when wet vinyl with water in it. Well, why? I hope you're lying. I bought a ton of albums. I'm older than you though, so like we would buy some cassettes, but mostly we would buy those blank Memorex pink and yellow and blue ones, and then we would immediately record. Like, oh my god, the new Metallica just came out. All right, immediately put it in onto the thing, play it, and we're gonna record the whole thing. Then we're gonna go drive around in our car and listen to it. I'm trying to think what other ones I had. I had a lot of. I mean, I had between me and my brother, so we were smart enough to be like, listen, you buy this, and then I'll buy this. Like we would go in a store and we would both buy. Like, hey, listen, I heard of this new band Slayer, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to. You buy that one. I'm like, all right, here's Show No Mercy. I bought that vinyl, and he's just like, he's a huge Randy Rhoads fan. So he's like, yeah, look at that, I found another Randy Rhoads, Ozzy bootleg. All right, buy your 50th bootleg, which is probably the same concert over and over. There was a place in Red Bank that had a ton of bootleg vinyl albums. Ton. Like a whole friggin' section. And they were a little costly, but me and my brother would go in a lot of times together, and we would take the bus down to Red Bank, and then we would buy some vinyl. Frank says, I bought a Bon Jovi vinyl with Richie Sambora's solo career in it. It's a small album. Taiketos don't go easy. Taiketo, they basically were like a local New Jersey, New York band back in the day. And they, I remember buying their demo at a show. They were like one of like 12 bands that played like some WSOU event. And they went on like either before or after Xenon. And I remember I liked them. I'm like, these guys are pretty good. And I ended up buying their cassette. Caldor. Yeah, Caldor. I remember going to Bradley's and buying Judas Priest Unleashed in the East cassette and Iron Maiden Made in Japan. Those two live cassettes. I mean, very, very excited. And also, then I also remember buying Ozzy Speak of the Devil when he does all the live, all the Sabbath songs after Randy Rhoads died. But I don't see that on Spotify. A little disappointed because I dug that album. I don't see it. I just don't see it anymore. I gotta get some writing in. So I'm writing. I'm finally writing. I started yesterday about 500 words, 504 words, of the extreme zombie book I'm doing for Evil Cookie Press. So it's gotta be. I gotta write 10,000 words. So I'm trying to knock this shit out. Was that Taiketo tape the 3-cut sampler? No, it was their. I don't remember the name of the demo. It was their demo, and it had like 6 songs on it. I remember it had 6 songs, and it had a live song on it. They covered something. I think they covered like a Bad Company song or something. Now, this is way before the album, before they were signed. I don't remember. Remember Caldor, though. Never got into Taiketo. I never really got into him. I got into him more than, like, within the last few years. You know, they have a couple of really solid songs. But I got, like, a little deeper. They're one of those, couldn't name a single song. Yeah, Forever Young, I think was their big song. There's a lot of those bands now that I'm like, I listen to them now and I'm like, man, I really listen to like that one song WSOU used to play. You know what I'm saying? Like I was never into like any of these, like, you know, Kick Tracy and Lord Tracy and bands with Tracy in the name. Rhino Bucket. Shit like that. I'm like, I never really paid much attention to them. But I also listened to a lot of heavier stuff at that time as well. So I got into all the thrash metal and the black metal and all the other stuff. So I listened to a lot of other stuff. Crimson, never really got into them. I did not really find them all that appealing. I thought the mask thing was stupid. Again, maybe 1 or 2 songs. I don't think I ever owned anything from Crimson Glory. Any band on Simmons Records. Like, I was not a Black and Blue fan, Speaking of Gene Simmons, I was not a fan of those guys. A couple of songs. I was also a loyal, Jersey guy. Danger, Danger, loved those guys. Trickster, loved those guys. Xenon, American Angel, all the bands that made it and the bands that didn't. Jelly Roll, yes, that guy with the tattoos, yeah, huge. I mean, he is a big guy. I think that was Black and Blue. No, the song Jelly Roll was Blue Murder. I like Blue Murder. I like that one album from Blue Murder. The whole thing. Love that whole first album by them. The second was like, eh. But I was a big John Sykes fan. Like Tigers of Pantang and, when he was stuff he did in Whitesnake, obviously. Everybody loved that album from 87. Good times, Frank. Just good times. I wonder how many concerts you and I were actually ever at together. Especially those Club and A ones. Because I friggin' went to every Club and A show. Every one. From about 88, when I was in high school, my senior year. From 88 to about 95, I went to a shitload of concerts. Jet Boy, loved Jet Boy. Jet Boy, I saw them twice opening for Kicks. And Jet Boy, I'm going to tell you a little Jet Boy story for me. Had no idea who they were. Had never heard the name, never heard anything. And me and George went to one show at the Denellen Theater, and then I think they played, I don't think it was the Stone Pony, but it was somewhere, the Rock Horse down there. And I think I went to that one by myself. And I went, and I got there early, and Jet Boy played. No idea who they are. And I loved them. I just fucking loved them. I thought they were great. The lead singer is like, I'm a Jersey guy, I'm from Lodi. And I really liked them, and I actually went out that next day and bought their cassette. The Feel the Shake cassette. And then I listened to it for 2 days straight, and then when I went and saw them, then I was singing along to the choruses when I saw them opening for Kicks again a couple days later. In the late 80s, your band name had to have Blue, Boys, or Electric in the name. Yes. Boys with a Z. Electric Boys. That was another great band. Lips and Hips. What a phenomenal song. Yeah, there were Motorcycle Boy and Electric Angels. Another phenomenal album. I get to see them live at Studio One. They were one of those can't miss bands that missed. Jet Boy, the band that should but didn't. Yeah. Killer Dwarfs. Love Killer Dwarfs. I turned Tom Duffy onto Killer Dwarfs. One of the greatest Canadian bands ever. And those dudes were dwarfs. They were freaking small. I'm sure they have to change their name to Killer Little People. Probably couldn't use the word killer either. 1312 high. Hello back. I keep seeing all those documentaries about all the 80s heavy metal bands and stuff, and I'm like, I saw this. I think I saw this one. Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, I definitely saw this one. I'm like, there's got to be a new one besides the Bang Tango one. Danny Spitz was like, "Damn you, short yo." There's a picture of Russ Dwarf, the singer of Killer Dwarfs, with Danny Lilker back in the day, and Danny Lilker is like literally twice his size. It is ridiculous. Danny Spitz was like 4 foot of hair. I am going to get this story written, though. That is kind of a goal, at least to get to the next page. My goal is to get to the next page. Almost next page, Mr. Frank. Almost next page. Few more lines. Few more lines. Almost next page, Nick Zinn. Almost next page. You cats is crazy. I will likely not be on tomorrow. I might be on tomorrow. Who knows? I will definitely be here on Friday, though. Monday, though, the 5th, is Cinco de Joey DeMeo from Manowar. It's his birthday, I believe. So they have Joey DeMeo Day in Mexico, which they're huge. Manowar is huge in Mexico. So that does make sense. Monday, I'll probably make tacos for dinner. I mean, it just makes sense. Now I'm actually on the next page. Taco bar. Yes, I'm making taco bar for me for lunch. Have you decided what bar I'm going to miss this year? No, I don't think Shelly's really thought too much about it. I know you're going to miss her party, which will be barbecue. Lots of delicious barbecue. So there won't be a barbecue one. I think she's going to do the potato bar again. People seem to like that, and people seem to want that. So you might be missing a what do you call it? Wish you could come, Frank. That's it's upsetting that you can't. I get it. Your wife's also having her party, but Smash Gladys Taco Bar. That sounds delicious. Smash Gladys. Smash Gladys was another band back in the day that you heard like that one or two songs, like Babylon A.D. And now, in later years, I would like listen to those albums, and I'm like, you know what? Not bad at all for what it was. Back to work. Have fun with that vegan barbecue. Will do. There will be plenty of vegan items for you to eat, Nick. Nick loved Babylon AD. Loved, as in past tense. He doesn't like them anymore. Heartbreak Boulevard. Great song. Bango the Bells. Great song. It's true. I've seen the place. Lots of grass around to eat. Yeah. Yeah, there's even like there's even those miniature horses there. Eat Nick Bar. Exactly. Michael Whitmer is young Mike is having a book signing on Saturday up at the Jack's Beaches. I'm going to run out there and check that out. I might go sneak into Taco Lou's. Get me a couple of tacos. Although it might also be completely nuts in there because it's the Cinco de Mayo weekend, isn't it? No, that's next. Yeah, that'll be the same weekend. I don't know. Is he bringing his spinning sign this time? I'm sure he's gonna bring his lucky lady with the big boobs and the wearing a t-shirt. I'm probably going to stay for a little. I'm just going to go and stay for a little bit until he annoys me with his overselling of stuff. It's like he's getting more confident at book signings, but not in a good way. Babylon ID has a RoboCop 2 song and video that I did. Really? I'm not sure if I remember that one. Still, out of any of those bands, and I've seen them 100 times, was Dirty Looks. They were on Atlantic for a little while. Phenomenal. And there was a local band from New York that used to play all the time, Law and Order. And there's a song called Whiskey that is phenomenal. Those guys were great. Saigon Kick, I'm in that one album. You're a writer, you're not supposed to be confident. You know what, Tom? You're absolutely right. I think that maybe this is the problem. You and I are sitting there being quiet, like, shut up. Stop calling attention to us. If they want a book, they'll buy it. this again. Because I screwed that one up. 2. The Kid Goes Wild. That was a good song, yeah. Still a great song. So the shitty lawn spraying guys are across the street at Neil's. We originally used them. And then this guy out here, he's like the son of the owner or something. So he's a typical asshole. And he would spray the front lawn, not think anybody was home, and he would ignore the back. And then I would go out and be like, you got to do the back. No, I did. No, you didn't. Then I would call my wife because I'm not doing anything. And then she would call. So we finally fired them. And then Shannon, her cousin, who Tom knows and loves, Tom's best friends with him at this point. Shannon started working he was working for them. He started working for another company. So we hired that company. Was D Generation too late for you? They came in a little late, but they did have a couple of good songs. I never saw them live, though. They played around a lot. But I never ever saw them live. I was telling Tom some of the shitty bands. Frank, do you remember a band, Circus of Power? They were like supposed to be the next big thing. They were huge New York band that's gonna be the next big thing. Blah blah blah. They got a big 3-album deal from a major label, and they played all over. They opened for bands all over the area, and blah blah blah. And they were not really good. So Tom, one of their lyrics was in one of their big songs was, she called me a jerk, and then she called me a turd. That's literally the lyrics in their song. These guys ain't going anywhere. I thought you were leaving, Nick. You like all this excitement, all this talking. You're like, forget work, man. We're talking about Saigon Kick Babylon AD stuff. I don't blame you. Pretty Boy Floyd got a bad rap. They kind of had it coming, but they were better than the shit they got. Now Tough earned all the shit. Yeah. Pretty Boy Floyd, so it's funny that Electric Toys for Electric Boys, whatever the hell that album was. The cassette, I don't know about the album. I can only speak to the cassette of it. They had no song credit. They had no credit for any of the songs on there. And then you realize, years later, that most of this, actually about half of the songs, let's say 10 songs, 5 of them were covers of other bands, including Toast of the Town by Motley Crue. That was on their Leather Records single, which is actually a good song. And I like the Pretty Boy Floyd version of it. Yeah, those guys were a little bit too much, Tough, yeah, that guy was it Stevie Rochelle? He was a douche. But again, that Tough album, that first Tough album, is a pretty good album. Not every song, but like I Hate Kissing You Goodbye. I'm just getting teared up right now thinking about what a great song that is. So many clever bands out there. See, Rochelle sounds like some YouTube kid influencer. So many great bands, though. Sometimes in the when I'm listening to Spotify, and then they'll like the daily mixes, and I'll be like, oh, this one has Jet Boy and Saigon Kick and Tough and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. This is the stuff I want to listen to. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know this song, and it's one of those new bands from Finland or Sweden that basically just totally they just totally rip off the sound and the lyrics and everything else, but they're like a newer band doing it, trying to bring it back. And I'll never forget, John Bowden hated those bands. I remember talking to him once, and I was like, oh, do you like what is Santa Cruz or whatever, all those? And he's like, oh my God, I hate all that stuff. He was very, very, very angry about it. Calm down, dude. I'm wrapping this up in a couple minutes, 3 minutes. Had fun talking about, I don't know what the hell we talked about, M. Night Shyamalan and 80s bands. 80s hair metal, I guess we could call it. I want to remind everybody to subscribe or resubscribe. I also want to remind everyone in the world to follow me on YouTube. I've gotten some followers. I broke 200, and then I dropped back down. Like, why do you follow somebody on YouTube and then stop, then unfollow them? It don't make any sense. None sense at all. I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? Isn't it right? All right. So, anybody else got anything in the last minute and a half of this feed? Again, I might be on tomorrow, probably not, but I will definitely be on Friday. And then I have no idea what this weekend's going to look like. I have no idea when my mother-in-law is going to be released from the hospital. It probably will not be today. The earliest would be tomorrow. And my wife basically will have sat up there for 2 straight days, which is ridiculous. So this weekend she might just be... Why? Why do you unfollow? Like, once I follow somebody, I follow them. I never did that on Twitter or anywhere else. It makes no sense. None sense at all. I don't do it. You shouldn't do it either. It should be illegal. There should be certain things in this world that are illegal. That should be one of them. Should be 2 of them, to be honest with you. All right. 30 seconds. I'm out of here. I think I'm going to take a nap, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those nap time days. Get a little reading in. Figure out what the hell I'm going to do for dinner since I'm on my own. Hey, Ashes, welcome in. We're just about to leave, but welcome in. Why would you continue to follow things you don't like? Here's the thing. I follow them to begin with because I think I'm going to like them. If I'm like, I still follow. I think it's just kind. Just kind to follow somebody else on YouTube and help them, especially if they're under 1,000 followers. That's just me, though. I'm giving. Unlike you, you're taking. Do you see the difference between you and I? If only I could live in your mind for like 7 minutes. If you lived in this mind for more than 4.5 minutes, you would never be able to get out. You would never be able to. You'd be like, I'm trapped! Or M. Night Shyamalan, trap! Either way. Alright, everybody. I will see you on Friday. Remember to follow everyone. Follow back. And remember, don't unfollow. And remember to subscribe or resubscribe. And also remember,